I've enjoyed it tremendously. I'm a member of the IBC, the International Business Council. I've been a member of different industrial forums and so on.
Ever wondered who truly runs Europe? Beyond the politicians and billionaires, there are families with influence spanning centuries, quietly shaping nations from the shadows. Today, we'll explore Europe's old money families, the hidden power brokers who have been pulling the strings for generations. Let's kick things off with a name that might not immediately ring a bell: the Wallenbergs. Ever heard of them? If you're thinking who, then you're in for a revelation. The Wallenbergs have been quietly running the show in Sweden, and by extension, much of Europe for over a century. This family isn't just old money, they are ancient money. We're talking about a dynasty that controls a financial empire worth billions. Really? Yes, really. The Wallenbergs' crown jewel is Investor AB, a company that has been the cornerstone of their wealth since 1916. Through Investor AB, the Wallenbergs hold significant stakes in companies like Ericsson, AstraZeneca, and SEB. If you've ever used a phone or taken medicine, chances are you interacted with a Wallenberg-controlled company without even knowing it. And here's the kicker: they employ over 1 million people globally. That's more than the population of some countries. They've got their hands in everything from telecommunications to pharmaceuticals to finance. It's like a spiderweb, with the Wallenbergs sitting right at the center, quietly pulling the strings. The Wallenbergs' approach to business is not just about owning companies, it's about strategic control and influence. Rather than seeking headlines, they focus on maintaining key stakes in major industries, quietly working behind the scenes to shape corporate strategies and decisions. Their power isn't flashy, but it's pervasive. Their influence spreads across boardrooms and corporate governance structures throughout Europe, ensuring that their economic interests align with long-term growth. This strategic foresight allows them to not only control their companies, but also sway markets and regulatory landscapes to their advantage. They're not just investors, they are architects of the European economic landscape, deftly maneuvering to keep their empire thriving. Now let's rewind the clock a bit. How does a family go from farming in 17th century Sweden to owning a significant chunk of Europe's economy? To understand how the Wallenbergs transitioned from humble beginnings to such immense wealth, we need to rewind to the 17th century. The story begins with Andre Oscar Wallenberg. Born in 1816, he started as a naval officer. Imagine sailing the high seas, facing all kinds of danger, and then he made a bold leap into banking. However, his ambition led him to a dramatic shift in focus: banking. In 1856, Andre founded Stockholm's and Skilda Bank, setting the stage for what would evolve into one of Europe's most powerful banking dynasties. Fast forward to the 20th century, and the Wallenbergs are not just bankers, they are kingmakers. During World War II, they played a crucial role in Sweden's neutrality, guiding through the murky waters of international diplomacy with skill and discretion. It wasn't just about money, it was about influence, power, and most importantly, survival. The Wallenbergs understood that to stay on top, you had to be smart, strategic, and sometimes a little bit ruthless. But the Wallenbergs didn't stop at business. They've always known that real power means having a say in politics. In Sweden, their influence is legendary. From the Swedish parliament to the boardrooms of Europe's biggest companies, if there is a significant decision to be made, you can bet a Wallenberg is involved, even if you don't see them in the spotlight. In fact, their influence extends beyond Sweden's borders, as they are key players in trans-European political and economical networks. By maintaining strong ties with both the business and political elites, the Wallenbergs ensure their continued dominance in European economic affairs. They are often involved in advisory roles to governments and EU bodies, helping shape regulations that impact multinational corporations. Their discretion is key to their power. They have mastered the art of working behind the scenes, influencing the outcomes of major decisions without stepping into the limelight. Their ability to remain low profile while holding vast influence is a testament to their strategic genius and the depth of their network. Let's not forget their role on the European stage. The Wallenbergs have been pivotal in shaping EU policies, particularly in areas like corporate governance and sustainability. When the European Union was drafting its digital single market strategy, which aimed to break down digital barrier across member states, the Wallenbergs were right there, ensuring that the policies aligned with their business interests. Ericsson, one of their flagship companies, stood to benefit enormously from these new regulations. Coincidence? Probably not. And it's not just about making money, it's about making sure that the rules of the game favor you. The Wallenbergs are masters at this. They've got connections everywhere, from Brussels to Berlin, and they use them to ensure their empire not only survives, but thrives in an increasingly competitive global market. As the 21st century unfolds, the Wallenbergs continue to adapt their strategies to maintain their influence. Their strategic acumen extends to modern challenges as well. As the 21st century progresses, the Wallenbergs have adeptly adapted their strategies to remain influential. In an era driven by technology and innovation, they have proactively aligned their investments with the digital transformation reshaping industries. Their substantial stake in Ericsson positions them at the forefront of the 5G revolution, ensuring their integral role in Europe's digital infrastructure. Furthermore, their focus on sustainable investments demonstrates a keen awareness of global trends, allowing them to influence the narrative around corporate responsibility and environmental stewardship in Europe. By positioning themselves as the leaders in both technological innovation and sustainability, the Wallenbergs are not merely surviving, they are setting the pace for others to follow. Of course, when you wield that much power, you're bound to attract some controversy. One notable scandal that rocked the Wallenberg empire was the Telia incident in 2018. Telia, a telecommunication giant in which the Wallenbergs have a significant stake, sought to acquire TV assets in Sweden and Finland. The deal, which seemed promising, fell through after the EU competition authorities intervened, citing concerns over monopolistic practices. Critics were quick to point the fingers at the Wallenbergs, accusing them of attempting to leverage their influence to dominate the market unfairly. The fallout from this incident was significant, with numerous headlines questioning whether the Wallenbergs had finally crossed a line. Then there is the issue of nepotism. The Wallenbergs have been accused of keeping everything in the family, using their control over investor AB to favor family members and close allies. Some argue that this concentration of power stifles competition and innovation. After all, when the same people have been running the show for over a century, it's hard for new ideas to break through. The Wallenbergs, however, defend their approach, arguing that it ensures stability and long-term planning. But is that really the case? Or is it just a convenient excuse to keep the power firmly in their hands? The Wallenbergs' influence on European politics is not just a relic of the past. It's a living, breathing force that continues to shape policies today. Take, for example, their role in the ongoing debate over corporate tax reform within the EU. The Wallenbergs, through their extensive network of political and business connections, have been influential in lobbying for tax policies that protect multinational corporations' interests, many of which they have significant stakes in. Their ability to navigate and influence these complex negotiations underscores their enduring power. While the EU grapples with the challenge of ensuring fair taxation across its member states, the Wallenbergs' quiet lobbying efforts ensure that their business empire remains largely unscathed, highlighting the often unseen but potent influence they wield. Now, before you start thinking the Wallenbergs are all about greed and power, let's talk about their philanthropy. Because yes, they do give back, quite a bit actually. The Wallenbergs have established several foundations that donate millions of dollars annually to scientific research and education. The Knut and Alice Wallenberg Foundation, for example, is one of the largest private financiers of scientific research in Europe. They've funded groundbreaking research in medicine, technology, and the natural sciences, contributing to advancements that benefit society as a whole. But here's the question: is this genuine altruism, or is it a savvy PR move? By investing heavily in science and education, the Wallenbergs not only bolster their public image, but also ensure they're at the forefront of innovation. After all, by funding research, they're not just giving away money, they're making strategic investments in the future. So while the Wallenbergs' philanthropy is commendable, it's also very much in line with their long-term goals of maintaining power and influence. So what does the future hold for the Wallenbergs? Will they continue to be the unseen hands guiding Europe's economy, or will they eventually fade into the background as new players emerge? Given their track record, it's hard to imagine the Wallenbergs stepping down anytime soon. They've mastered the art of staying relevant, adapting to challenging times, and keeping their core values and power intact. The Wallenbergs are a reminder that in Europe, old money doesn't just mean old, it means enduring. These families have shaped the continent's history and continue to influence its future in ways that most of us can't even fathom. They operate behind the scenes, away from the public eye, but their impact is felt everywhere. From the products we use to the policies that govern us, the legacy of old money families like the Wallenbergs is woven into the very fabric of European society. So next time you hear about a major decision being made in Europe, whether it's a corporate merger, a new law, or a groundbreaking scientific discovery, remember the Wallenbergs. They might not be in the headlines, but their influence is there, quietly guiding the course of events. The Wallenbergs are are more than just a family. They're a force, a legacy of power that has been passed down through the generations and shows no signs of fading. And that, folks, is how old money families like the Wallenbergs actually own Europe. Their story is a fascinating blend of history, strategy, controversy, and influence. A reminder that in the game of power, it's not always about who's in the spotlight, but who's pulling the strings behind the scenes. Thanks for tuning in. If you found this video intriguing, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the Wallenberg or any other money families you think we should cover next. Until next time, keep exploring the hidden stories that shape our world.